Emergency burn, all ships, full thrust to Vector 370. Admiral Mara Cade gripped her command chair as the deck shuddered. Alarms wailed across the bridge of the UNS Vanguard. Plasma lances from the Coalition fleet stabbed down, turning New Horizons' equatorial cities to molten slag. Half the hemisphere glowed white-hot on the main holoscreen. "Admiral, we're clear of the primary barrage," Commander Gyro Sato reported from tactics. His fingers flew over his console, parsing sensor ghosts amid the firestorm. "But their cruisers are reallocating. Follow-up strikes inbound in 90 seconds. Cade nodded once. She scanned the evac tallies. 60% of the colony's population streamed toward the fleet in battered lifeboats. The rest, ash. The Varak Coalition had demanded surrender. Humanity answered with exodus. Now they glassed the world anyway. "Reroute all lifeboats into the debris corridor bearing 245. Use the wreckage rings for cover." Cade's order snapped out. Sato relayed it fleet-wide. On her screen, icons shifted, civilian pods weaving through the shattered hulks of orbital docks and freighters. Coalition sensors would struggle to pick them from the chaff. A yeoman burst onto the bridge. "Ma'am, Captain Uwit's flotilla reports ready for skirmish run. She's got 4 corvettes primed to hit their lead battleship." Cade's jaw tightened. Lysa Uwit was a raider born to nip and fade. Tempting, but numbers didn't lie. Coalition massed 200 hulls to their 80 survivors. Revenge now meant annihilation. "Negative, Captain, hold formation, protect the boats." Cade watched Uwit's icon blink acknowledgement. Discipline held, Sato leaned forward. "Admiral, we've got partial signatures on 105 hostiles. Quantum drives, warp coils, Varak patterns mixed with Krag-heavy ions. I can tag them for pursuit." "Do it." Cade activated her personal recorder. A steady red light blinked as she spoke into it, voice level. "Coalition attack on New Horizon, 1422 Zulu. Fleet composition, 12 Varak dreadnoughts, signatures Alpha through Lambda. 27 Krag cruisers, hull IDs logged. Balance unidentified but mass-locked. Every hull tagged for accountability." The bridge crew worked in controlled fury. Dr. Inez Valen patched in from engineering. Her face appeared on a side screen smeared with coolant gel. "Admiral, civilian megastructures in orbit, the old stellar forge array. I can overload their relays to bloom a sensor dazzle. Buy us 10 minutes. Risk assessment?" Cade asked. "Forge collapse probability 20%, but it'll mask the boats clean." "Execute." Cade watched the feed. Valen's teams jury-rigged the ancient civilian tech, meant for starship hulls, now weaponized as a shield. Energy surged. The debris corridor lit up like a false supernova. Coalition targeting locks shattered. Lifeboats poured through. 90% clear, Sato's console pinged. "They're breaking off orbital. Pursuit vectors forming 8 squadrons detaching." Cade's fleet clawed distance on emergency drives. Fuel margins redlined, but they lived. "Captain Uwit requests permission for snapshot salvo," Sato said. "Torpedoes only, disrupt their cohesion." Every eye turned to Cade. Sato's gaze burned, tactical instinct screaming for blood. Bridge tension spiked. "No," Cade stood. "Redirect all ammo to point defense grids. Cover the stragglers. We don't sortie. We survive." Sato's fists clenched. "Ma'am, they're murderers." "We hit them now, we avenge." "Revenge is a poor multiplier, Commander." Cade met his eyes. "We take attendance first. Every signature logged, every debt noted, then we collect." Sato exhaled. He nodded, relayed the order. Railguns and lasers spun up, forming an exclusion bubble around the last boats. The Vanguard bucked as Coalition probes tested the edge. Cade's screens tracked the tags, each enemy hull a glowing accusation. Varak dreadnoughts led, their legate Voss Kryn no doubt gloating from the flagship's throne. Intercepted chatter confirmed it. "Primitives scatter like vermin. Press the kill." Cade's fleet coalesced at the jump point. Uwit's corvettes danced picket duty, drawing fire without counterpunching. Valen's dazzle faded, but the boats were through. Fleet jump drives spooled. "Jump in 30, Sato announced. "Coalition closing to knife range." Cade keyed fleet-wide. "All hands, this is Admiral Cade." "New Horizon burns. We carry her people. We carry her score. Hold the line." The stars stretched. Hyperspace swallowed them. Hours later, in the dim-lit ready room, Cade reviewed the logs. Sato entered, data slate in hand. "Full tags compiled, Admiral." Cross-referenced with ONI archives. Legate Voss Kryn commands. Varak Elite Terror Doctrine. They've hit 12 human outposts this cycle. Cade traced a dreadnought icon. Their order relies on fear, we turn it to precision. Valen joined via holo. Stellar forged data synced. Those arrays, repurposable. With fleet fabricators, we scale them to sun-tap weapons. Sato's eyes lit. Guessing your play, seed their supply lanes with ghosts, draw them in then, memorialize their stars. Cade's voice stayed even. Grief fueled her math, not rage. We hit their cores, controlled collapses, suns to glass, their coalition fractures when worlds see the cost. Uit patched in from her Corvette. My raiders scout ahead, risk-balanced probes. Affirmative. Cade assigned vectors. Collaboration sharpened the blade. Deep in hyperspace, the plan unspooled. Cade's fleet split into wolves, logistics chains rerouted, ammo conserved. No wild charges, measured cuts. Enemy chatter leaked through relays. Legate Voss Crin's voice boomed in intercepted bursts. Human remnants flee. No counter detected, doctrine holds. Cade smiled faintly. Doctrine met arithmetic. Days out, Sato burst onto the bridge. Probes confirm coalition hub at Epsilon Draconis. Their warp nexus unguarded flanks. Cade plotted it. Uit's flotilla feints coreward, draw their hunters. Valen preps the cedars. The trap baited. Uit's ships ghosted into sensor range, broadcasting distress. Coalition squadrons pounced, 40 hulls, signatures matching New Horizons roster. They're ours, Sato murmured. Cade watched the dance. Uit jinked, bled speed, lured them deep. Valen's cedars, repurposed forged drones, slipped into the system's Uit cloud. Silent, patient, coalition closed. Voss's dreadnoughts loomed on long-range scopes. Execute Phase 2, Cade ordered. Cedars burrowed into the star's corona. Megastructures hummed, siphoning plasma. Containment fields inverted. Epsilon Draconis belched. Flares lashed out, calibrated. Coalition ships caught in the storm, hulls vaporized, signatures wiped. Survivors scattered, comms frantic. Voss's voice cracked over open channels. What sorcery? Pull back, regroup. Cade's fleet hyperspaced in at the nexus. Rail salvos stripped the stations, no mercy for infrastructure. Uit's corvettes picked stragglers. Sato grinned. Their orders cracking. Fringe worlds already querying terms. 1 down, 10 suns marked. Cade recorded the aftermath. Epsilon Draconis memorialized, coalition losses confirmed, next target Verac Prime. Voss's fleet reformed light years away. In his throne room, the legate slammed a fist. Sensors replayed the star's death throes. Human ships, precise, unrelenting, had turned a sun to a graveyard. Primitives do not break, an aide whispered. Voss snarled. They will mobilize the full coalition, but doubt seeded. Human logs, broadcast wide, listed every hull. Attendance taken, Cade's wolves prowled onward, sacrifices tallied. Vengeance measured in stellar pyres, the coalition's order trembled. Humans kept accounts, fleet reports flooded in. Uit's voice cut through. Admiral, we've got eyes on their next convoy. Tagged hulls from New Horizon. Your math holds, they're bunched. Initiate. Cade leaned forward. Jump drives whined. Another sun queued for memorial. Voss watched his empire's maps flicker. Human ghosts multiplied. Terror yielded to strategy. Too late he understood, never anger humans. They answered with ledgers and fire. Cade's eyes stayed on the stars, one world avenged, the galaxy next. Captains, status reports, now. Admiral Mara Cade's voice cut through the flagship's briefing chamber. Holographic feeds from 12 surviving ships bloomed across the central table. Scratched hulls, flickering engines, her fleet clung to life after Epsilon Draconis. Smoke stains marred Uit's corvette bridge. Sato tapped data streams beside her. Flotilla intact, Admiral, Captain Lysa Uit said. Fuel at 40%, tagged 3 enemy stragglers. Scouts operational, Commander Gyro Sato added. Jump drives primed, enemy chatter spiking. Cade nodded once. No praise, no pause, she swiped the holomap. Red icons pulsed, coalition supply lines snaking toward Verac Prime. Blue markers, her wolves, circled like scalpels. Listen close, we don't chase glory, we starve them. Cade zoomed on a cluster of depots. Each of you gets one objective, 1. Hit it clean, extract, regroup at Rally Point Delta. She assigned them in sequence. Captain Ray's, Helium-3 refineries orbiting Theta Ceti. Captain Hale, antimatter convoys from the outer rim. Uit's turn came last. Uit, your flotilla raids fuel depots along the Varac Spur. No kills unless they block you. Prioritize tanks. Uit's eyes narrowed, her fingers flexed on her armrest. Raiding dumps instead of hulls, they'll scatter like roaches. Exactly, Cade leaned in. They expect revenge strikes. We deliver logistics, deny them jump range. Your math says you thread those lanes without traps. Uit grinned sharp. Math holds, we're ghosts till we're not executing. Holograms winked out one by one, affirmatives echoed. Cade dismissed them with a gesture. The chamber emptied to her, Sato, and a lone tablet glowing with Dr. Valen's proposal. Sato spun his chair. Enemies pulling reserves to Varak, captured their calm bursts garbled but patterns emerge. Map their jump rhythms. Cade jabbed the console. Every burst. Predict their windows, we dance between heartbeats. Sato's fingers flew. Data cascaded, fractal jumps, coalition syncs tuned to stellar winds. On it, first models rendering, they'll blink in predictable packs. Good. Cade pulled up Valen's file. Schematics unfolded, a stellar maintenance array, civilian megastructure orbiting a nameless dwarf star. Coalition built, half abandoned. Valen's annotations glowed, repurposed plasma injectors into a beam weapon. Overload protocols flipped to firestarters. Range, sun-killing. She scanned the risks. Cascade failures, crew exposure, sacrifice metrics, 3 tenders lost, array self-destructs post-shot. Cade's stylus hovered. Grief from burned worlds tugged, New Horizons ash, families vaporized, she signed. Approved, dispatch Valen with the tenders. Turn their toy into our torch. Sato glanced up. Varak's sun next. Cade's gaze locked on the holomap. Memorial 13. Captain Lysa Uit's corvettes ghosted through the Varak spur. Sensors whispered, fuel depot ahead, bloated tanks orbiting a gas giant. Coalition patrols orbited lazy ellipses, predictable, arrogant. Flotilla, skirmish formation. Uit's voice stayed level. Thread the rings, target tanks only, her helm officer nodded. Cade's math vectors loaded, we're silk through gravel. Drives hummed low. Corvettes slipped between ice boulders. Enemy pickets stirred late. Rails spat silent slugs. First tank ruptured, helium plumes blooming silent in vacuum. Alarms blared on enemy scopes. Patrols wheeled. Uit's lead ship danced aside, point defense lasers carving drones. Extract vector? Uit snapped. Pods jettisoned, shaped charges burrowing into second depot. Fireballs chained. Fuel clouds ignited, chain reacting across the lanes. Clean hit, her TAC officer reported. Their jumps cripple in 12 hours. Uit watched the pyre fade. No cheers, just logs updating, depots zeroed. Cade's schedule ticked forward. Commander Gyro Sato hunched over his station aboard the flagship. Captured comm bursts scrolled, alien code, layered encryptions cracking under human algos. Patterns emerged. Coalition jumps pulsed every 47 minutes, synced to relay buoys. Flaws, overload lags on massed fleets. Got it. Sato overlaid the map. Green prediction arcs laced Varak's approaches. They mass at these choke points. We slip the gaps. Cade reviewed from her command deck. Overlay Uit's raids. Factor fuel denial. Arcs tightened. Enemy windows shrank to needles. Perfect, she said. Transmit to all. Sato sent the bursts. Fleet ghosts multiplied. Dr. Inez Valen floated through the stellar array's guts. Zero-G corridors hummed with repurposed hum. Her team, engineers in skin suits, welded plasma feeds to weapon mounts. Injector alignment at 98%, her lead tech reported. Voice comm over comms. Valen checked seals. Coalition design, elegant for maintenance, fragile for war. She flipped overrides. Array's core, a fusion heart, now a lance. Tenders in position, Cade's relayed order came. Charge sequence. Valen initiated. Plasma built, magnetic bottles straining. Dwarf star below churned, tides pulling. Locked on test target, Valen said. Mock beacon, coalition drone, beam lanced clean vaporization. Viable, she transmitted. Crew evac in 5, firing solution for Varak queued. Tenders detached. Array thrummed alone, a loaded gun in the void. Legate Voss Krin's war chamber boiled. Hologlyphs shattered under his fist. Fuel depots gone, raided precise, no ships lost. Jump relays flickered offline. Primitives nibble flanks, Voss roared. Aides flinched. Mobilize core fleets, crush their nexus. Sensors replayed, human corvettes vanishing like mist. No wild charges, surgical cuts, and aides stammered. Legate patterns in their strikes, supply schedules, there. Accounting. Voss froze. Human broadcasts looped, ledgers of burned worlds. Epsilon Draconis memorialized, losses tallied hull by hull. Terror broke them before, Voss growled. It will again, Doubt gnawed. Scouts reported anomalies, stellar array charging, dwarf star flaring odd. Cade's flagship hyperspaced into position. Varrock Prime loomed, Coalition bastion, shipyards brimming, enemy fleet's mast, jumps sinking sloppy under fuel strain. Sato's map holds, Sato confirmed. Their window closes in 3. Uit's flotilla reformed on wing. Fuel bites landed, their grounded half-fleets. Valen's array reports green, Cade ordered. All ships initiate. Fleet jumped in salvos, Sato's rhythms perfect. Rails thundered, enemy screens buckled under precision barrages, coalition heavies lumbered, lasers clawed void. Cade's battlecruiser shuddered, shields held. Array firing, Valen transmitted, beam stabbed from light years distant. Varrock's sun convulsed, plasma arcs lashed orbitals, shipyards melted, fleets scattered blind, Voss's flagship reeled, alarms screamed. Sun's magnetosphere tore, ships caught in coronal ejections. Evacuate, Voss bellowed. Bridge crew dragged him to pods, Cade watched feeds, sun stabilized, scarred, Varrock Prime's fleet's ash. Memorial 14, she logged. Coalition order fracturing. Next, core worlds. Uit's voice crackled. Admiral, their legate's signal breaking, full mobilization, but our ghosts are everywhere. Sato grinned. Schedules updated, they chase shadows. Cade's eyes traced the map. Fringe worlds defected, coalition spines cracked, one sun avenged. The ledger grew, humans kept accounts with fire. Voss's escape shuttle limped to rally. Scanners showed ghosts, human raiders on every lane, supply nodes dark. Primitives fight like machines, an aide whispered. Voss snarled. No, worse, they plan. Dread bloomed. Human logs broadcast anew, Varrock memorialized. Schedules appended, his core sons next. Never anger humans, they answered with precision hell. Fleet reports surged. Cade's wolves closed. Sacrifice turned stars to graves. Coalition trembled. Cade leaned back. Jump drives whined. The galaxies turned cued. Captain Lysa Uit's corvette twisted through the picket line's blind spot. Torpedoes lanced out. Coalition drones shattered in silent blooms. Flankers down, her helm officer barked. Uit gripped her console. Sensor ghosts from the decoy net masked their approach. Picket ships wheeled, too slow. Her raiders danced in, grapples firing. Boarding teams, core priority, Uit snapped. Marines jetted across the void. Zero-G britches punched hulls. Alarms wailed on enemy feeds. Coalition Marines poured out, plasma rifles spitting. Human boarders rolled, mag boots locking, return fire carving through armor. Uit watched the timer. Extract in 60. Her lead team breached the sensor vault. Coalition tech hummed, quantum arrays pulsing data across light years. Core secure, the sergeant grunted. They yanked the cylinder free, intact. Enemy reinforcements swarmed corridors. Marines fell back, dragging the prize. Raiders peeled away. Picket ships pursued, but Uit's flotilla vanished into a micro-jump. Coalition wreckage spun. One core stolen. False data now theirs to wield. Commander Gyro Sato hunched over the sensor core in the flagship's engineering bay. Sparks flew as he spliced alien filaments into human relays. Dr. Inez Valen steadied the quantum stabilizer. Alignment at 98%, she said. Sato nodded, fingers flying across the interface. Coalition encryption cracked under brute force algos, human code outpacing their locks. Decoy net live, Sato announced. He fed ghost signals into the grid, phantom fleets massing on fringe lanes. Bogus signatures mimicked battlecruisers, carriers, swarms of fighters. The core's authenticity sold the lie enemy sensors would swallow it whole. Valen sealed the casing. Broadcast radius, full sector. Sato tested the feed. Coalition probes lit up, querying the ghosts. Replies bounced back perfect. They're biting, he said. A grin cracked his focus. Imperfect data turned lethal. He patched through to the bridge. Admiral net deployed, they'll chase shadows from here to the core. Admiral Mara Cade's fleet hung at the jump corridor's edge. Mines glittered in the scans, Coalition trapped seeding unsafe vectors. Her battlecruiser hummed, drives primed. Sato's decoy net painted diversions across the sector, fake human armadas drawing patrols away. Coalition pickets scrambled, blind to the real thrust. Thread the needle, Cade ordered. Her fleet surged forward, single file through the mined gauntlet. Destroyers led, ECM burst scrambling proximity fuses. Mines drifted past, inert. Cade's eyes locked on the holomap. Vectors tight, any deviation meant vapor. Sato's voice cut in. Ghosts holding, enemy heavies diverted to lane 7. Uit's flotilla screened the rear, skirmishing stragglers. Cade exhaled. Logistics won wars, this was restraint forged sharp. Corridor cleared. Main fleet emerged into enemy rear space. Coalition orbitals loomed, supply depots, repair yards, buoy chains guiding their traffic. Target buoys, Cade said. Railguns spoke. Navigation markers exploded in sequence. Jump vectors destabilized. Pursuers would plunge blind, collisions, misjumps, hulls torn on gravity shears. Buoy chain severed, Sato confirmed. Trap sprung. Coalition alarms blared across the sector. Legate Voskrin slammed his fist on the command dais. Human phantoms everywhere. Scanners swarmed with false contacts, fleets materializing on every approach. His pickets reported losses, supply nodes went dark. The stolen core's echo haunted their nets. Recall patrols, Voss growled. It's a feint. But probes confirmed ghosts, mass readings, drive signatures, even spoofed comms chatter. His aides paled. Legate the main corridor, buoys offline. Dread coiled. Human raiders had sliced through. Real fleets now knifed under armor. Voss mobilized reserves, too late. Reports flooded, depots burning, convoys ambushed. Primitives didn't rage, they calculated. Back on the flagship, Cade reviewed the feeds. Uwit's voice crackled. Flotilla clear, Admiral, sector blind. Sato updated the map. Coalition forces chasing decoys spread thin. Valen's arrays hummed, repurposing captured megastructures into fire support. Cade traced the next ledger entry. Varek's sun waited, plasma arrays aligned from afar. Grief tallied, burned worlds answered in kind. Fleet advanced to staging points, she said. Drives whined, wolves closed. Voss's rally fleet assembled amid chaos. Ghosts multiplied. Human signals taunted, logs of memorials passed, suns turned graves. They plan, Voss muttered. Aid screens flickered, sensor core failure traced. Theft, deception. Full intercept, he commanded. Carriers launched. But vectors lied, ships misjumped into minefields. Explosions lit the void. Human precision carved his flanks. Uwit's corvettes struck again. Torpedoes gutted a cruiser. One down, she reported. Her crews cheered, math held, risks balanced. Sato refined the net. Ghosts evolving, mimicking their maneuvers. Coalition bit harder, fleets splintering. Cade's battlecruiser led the thrust. Shields flared under skirmish fire. Hold course, she said. Logistics chained victories, fuel depots seized, enemy supplies choked. Valen patched in. Array primed, Varek's sun targeted. Civilian stellar tech weaponized, sacrifice queued. Coalition core worlds loomed. Voss rallied his legions. Humans came not in fury but schedule. Uwit dodged laser webs, her flotilla a thorn. Admiral, their legate signals breaking, panic spreads. Cade nodded to Sato. Schedules updated. Ghosts danced. Real knives slipped deep. Voss watched his order fracture, fringe defections mounted. Human broadcasts echoed, never anger them, they kept accounts with fire. Cade leaned into the final jump. The galaxy turned. Captain Uwit's ambush had cracked the first seam. Her flotilla ghosted into the picket line's outer patrol. Void black, engines cold. Coalition sentries drifted, sensors sweeping predictable arcs. Uwit timed the pulse. Strike, she whispered. Corvettes ignited, thrust minimal, torpedoes hot. Drones popped like bubbles. Picket frigate woke, turrets swiveling. Too late. Grapples latched. Marines stormed in. Corridors rang with gunfire. Coalition troops fought fierce, claws rending armor. Humans pressed, grenades sealing bulkheads. Core room, Uwit urged over comms. Sergeant Reyes hauled the cylinder. Intact, quantum weave pristine. Enemy counterattack breached a hatch. Reyes fired one-handed, buying seconds. Team extracted, shuttle blasting free. Uwit peeled her ships away. Pursuit scattered, decoy bursts from earlier ops. Prize secured. Coalition blind spot exploited. Sato worked the core like clay. In the bay, conduits snaked. Valen synced, power flows. Alien lattice integrates, efficiency spike. Sato layered false data, fleet signatures pulled from captured logs, randomized paths. Net spin up, he said. Broadcast hit coalition relays. Ghosts bloomed, hundreds strong. Enemy queries pinged, replies flowed seamless. They're reallocating, Sato told Cade via Tightbeam. Your window opens. Cade seized it, fleet dove the corridor. Mines winked past, Sato's ECM a shield. Destroyers nudged hazards aside. Tension hummed on bridge. Emergence, Helm called. Stars shifted. Buoys gleamed ahead. Fire, Cade said. Missiles streaked. Markers shattered. Vectors poisoned. Pursuers doomed to drift or die. Coalition reacted slow. Uwit's voice. Rear clear. Sato, ghosts locked. Valen, systems green. Cade logged the phase, enemy chased phantoms, real blade pressed throats. Voss bellowed orders, fleets chased lies, supply lines snapped. Humans turned terror to tactic. One knife slipped, more followed, memorials queued, coalition spines bent. Cade's eyes hardened, necks sunburned, accounts balanced with stars. Missiles slammed into the shipyard moon's outer buoys. Explosions bloomed silent in the void. Admiral Mara Cade watched the holotank flicker as debris clouds masked her fleet's approach. "Eclipse in 30, Helm Officer Reyes called. The moon's primary swung into alignment, plunging the far side into shadow. Perfect cover. Cade's fingers traced the orbital plot. Coalition dreadnoughts orbited tight, their formation a steel web around the dry docks. Shipyard hummed with half-built hulls, prime targets. But domes glittered below, packed with alien workers. She wouldn't glass them, not yet. "Sato," she said. "Crossfire lanes, now." Commander Gyro Sato leaned into his console. Data streams raced across his screens. Dreadnoughts clustered at 047. Alvector destroyers threw their blind arcs, forced them to mask each other. Cade nodded. Sato's mind turned chaos into geometry, imperfect sensors. He filled gaps with probabilities that hit like certainties. "Flotilla leads confirmed," Sato said. Captain Lysa Uwit's voice cut in on Tightbeam. "Raiders peeling off Admiral will dance the flanks. Keep them alive, Uwit. We need the distraction." Enemy sensors pinged. Alerts wailed across the coalition net. Legate Voss Kryn's flagship, the ironclad, pivoted hard. Its spinal lance charged, a lance of plasma that could core a cruiser. "They're painting us," Sato snapped. "Adjusting lanes, destroyers 1 through 5, fire on my mark." Cade's bridge crew braced. The Eclipse shadow swallowed her battle cruisers. Stars vanished behind the moon's curve. One orbit, that's all she needed. "Mark!" Sato's command rippled out. Lances from Uwit's raiders stabbed first. Coalition frigates shattered, venting atmosphere. Destroyers surged from the shadow, lasers carving precise grids. Dreadnoughts fired back massive volleys that scorched empty space. Sato grinned. "They're blocking their own guns. Lead ship masks the second's batteries, thirds in the kill box." Cade saw it unfold. Enemy formation tangled like vines. Human destroyers darted between behemoths, torpedoes threading the gaps. A dreadnought's flank erupted. Secondary explosions chained through its magazines. "Valen," Cade ordered. "Prep boarding teams for the Foundry Corps. We take it intact." "Doctor." Inez Valen patched in from engineering. Her voice stayed level. "Shuttles fueled. Lattice adapters ready. One breach and it's ours." Coalition counterfire thickened. Ironclad loosed a barrage. Cade's flagship shuddered as point defense lashed out. Shells vaporized meters from the hull. "Shields holding," Reyes reported. "Drydock's exposed." Cade's eyes locked on the holotank. Vast skeletal frames cradled enemy cruisers, half-formed, vulnerable. Domes curved safe below, shielded by the yard's spine. "Pinpoint strikes," she said. "Collapse the docks, spare the habitats." Gunnery chief bellowed acknowledgments. Railguns thrummed. Slugs accelerated to fractions of lightspeed. They struck true, drydock struts buckled. Hulls tumbled free, smashing into half-siblings. A chain of failures rippled. Metal screamed in the vacuum. Enemy dreadnoughts broke formation. They lunged to protect the yard, but Sato's lanes held. Crossfire pinned them. One behemoth vented plasma from gutted engines. Another drifted, weapons slagged. Uwit's voice crackled. "Flanks collapsing, Admiral. Pursuit scattering." Cade seized the breach. "Boarding parties launch. Secure the Foundry." Shuttles boiled from her bays. Enemy pickets swarmed them. Sergeant Reyes led the Vanguard cylinder prize from the last op slung across his back. His team punched through a frigate's hull. Breaches sealed behind them. Cade tracked the feeds. Tension coiled in her gut. One orbit ticking down. Sato wiped sweat. Ghost fleets drawing their reserves. Kryn's raging on open channels. She glanced at the intercept. Legate Voss Kryn's voice boomed. "Humans, you skulk in shadows, face my legions." Cade ignored it. Let him bellow, her knife cut silent. Valen's shuttle docked at the Foundry spire. Alarms shrieked inside. Coalition guards fired bursts. Her team returned fire, disciplined, suppressive. They cleared the core chamber. "AI nexus located," Valen reported. "Quantum locks cycling." Sato fed her overrides from the bridge. "False auth incoming, punch it." Valen jacked in. Alien code flowed, labyrinthine, elegant. She repurposed it midstream. Human munitions schematics flooded the core. "Integrating, efficiency at 98%, it's ours." Foundry hummed alive, Crane's word. Half-built hulls shifted to human specs, railgun bays widening, missile pods multiplying. Enemy reinforcements clawed at the plot. Ironclad closed, lance glowing. Orbital burn, Cade commanded. One pass complete, extract. Fleet peeled away. Shuttles raced back, Valen's team last. Rays covered their retreat, shotgun barking. A coalition squad breached the hatch. He fired one-handed, cylinder clutched tight. Bulkhead sealed, shuttle blasted free. Uwit's raiders screened the pullout. Decoy bursts scattered pursuit. Sato's ECM ghosts multiplied, phantom fleets drawing fire. Cade watched the moon recede. Dry docks lay in ruins. Domes intact, lights flickering as aliens gaped at the wreckage. Shipyard secured, she logged. Civilians spared, let them tell Kryn. Eclipse ended. The moon's primary glared. Coalition fleets chased shadows light minutes away. Sato leaned back. They'll know precision when they see it. Cade's gaze hardened. One knife slipped clean, more followed. Voss's order cracked next, but the accounts tallied higher. Human worlds burned. Suns queued as memorials. Ironclad's lance fired late. It scorched void where her fleet had been. Cade plotted the next vector. Eclipse windows waited on other moons. Rays burst onto the bridge, cylinder in hand. Foundry Data Core Admiral hot. Valen followed, tools slung. It's spitting human-grade blueprints already. Cade took the cylinder. Cool metal bit her palm. Grief fueled this. Restraint sharpened it. Spin it up, she said. We build the counterstroke. Sato patched feeds. Coalition broadcasts lit the net. Workers in domes chattered, fear laced with awe. They struck like gods. Spared us? Voss's voice overrode. Exterminate the vermin, no mercy. Cade smiled cold. Mercy was her weapon. Terror his mistake. Fleet accelerated. Ghost signatures bloomed anew. Real blades honed. One shipyard fell in one orbit. The lesson spread. Next target burned in her sights, a Forge world sun. Sergeant Reyes slumped into a jump seat, blood streaking his armor. Worth it, ma'am. Cade met his eyes. Every second. Uwit tight-beamed. Rear guard clear. What's next? Home, Cade replied, with teeth. Valen synced the core to fleet fabbers. Munitions poured out tailored to crack coalition spines. Sato plotted the jump. Vectors locked, they'll chase phantoms to dust. Cade stood. Bridge crew snapped alert. Her voice carried steel. We balanced the ledger world by world. Stars streaked. Eclipse shadows hid more knives. Voss Kryn stared at the feed, shipyard in flames, domes whole. Impossible, he growled. How? His aides flinched. Human ghosts multiplied. Real fleets vanished. Legate slammed a fist. Hunt them, but the humans kept accounts. Sons would testify. Cade's fleet ghosted into the black. One orbit won, the war turned. Dry docks gone, AI theirs. Civilians alive to whisper, never anger humans. Next sun queued, memorial bright. Fleet dove hyperspace, blades out. From Cade's bridge, the void promised balance. She gripped the plot, sacrifices made. Vengeance measured, ironclad trailed cold. Voss chased lies, humans fought smart, coalition broke slow. One moon taught, more worlds learned, Cade exhaled. Status. All green, Sato said. Valen nodded. Core purring. Uwit flotilla intact. Reyes grinned through pain. Ready for more. Cade's eyes gleamed. The counteroffensive accelerated. Shipyard echoed in enemy nightmares. Lessons spread. Stars waited. Accounts due. Enemy drive signatures erupted across the plot table. Admiral Myra Cade gripped the edge as Legate Kryn's counteroffensive flooded the binary jump choke. Coalition battleships sealed the lane, their formation a wall of plasma-laced hulls. Her fleet hung pinned, drives spooling too slow for evasion. Numbers, Cade snapped. Sato's fingers flew over his console. 200+ heavies, flankers vectoring to envelop. They'll crush us in 10 minutes. Valen leaned into her stellar readouts. Chokes gravitational shear limits jumps. Binary dance tears anything oversized. Cade's eyes narrowed on the hollow. Kryn's lead ship, the Ironclad, broadcasted demands for surrender. She ignored it. Restraint had burned worlds. Now math ruled. Goal, break the pin, preserve the core fleet. Conflict, sacrifice to buy the lane. Captain Uwit, Cade said into the comm. Screen formation, hold the choke. Uwit's voice crackled back, steady. Aye, Admiral, flotilla deploying. We'll make them pay per meter. Cade watched the skirmishers peel off, 20 light cruisers, Uwit's wolves. They burned hot into the enemy van, lasers stitching hulls. Coalition return fire vaporized 2 in seconds. Uwit's flotilla danced, risk-balanced, trading shots to foul the dreadnought advance. Sato plotted micro-jumps. They're buying a spin-up, but Kryn's pushing the wedge. Cade nodded. Coalition doctrine favored terror strikes, burn civies, force folds, humans logged debts, she keyed fleet-wide. All ships prep for breach. Uit opens the door, we charge through. Explosions bloomed amid Uit's line. A coalition frigate crumpled under railgun fire. Uit's voice cut in. Holding, ma'am, magazine's hot, say the word. Now, Cade said. Uit's flotilla ignited. Detonations chained from stem to stern, magazine overloads engineered by Valen's tweaks. Fireballs ripped through the coalition formation. Dreadnought bows shattered. Shrapnel clouds shredded enemy flanks. The wall cracked wide, a lane of boiling debris. Cade punched the execute. Fleet advance, survivors first. Her flagship, the Vanguard, lurched forward. Drives howled against the sheer. Sato called vectors. Lane stable for 90 seconds. Push, coalition wrecks tumbled in the binary gravity well. Cade's heavies surged through, lasers clearing stragglers. Uit's remnants, 5 cruisers, hold and silent, drifted as debris. No maydays, just ghosts. Valen synced damage control. Core holding. We lost 12% tonnage. Not the point, Cade said. She pulled up the roster, Uit, Lysa, her execs, every crew name. She logged them, campaign debts, 1 line per ship. They bought this jump. Next sun pays. Sensors pinged, stragglers linking up. Fleet cohesion held at 78%. Kryn's ironclad reeled back, formation in tatters. His counteroffensive smoked. Cade exhaled. Status on the lane, Sato grinned. Collapsing, we're through. Jump prep, she ordered. Stars blurred as hyperspace clawed them free. On the far side, the fleet coalesced around a barren system. Repair drones swarmed. Cade paced the bridge. Grief tightened her jaw, but she channeled it. Uit's math checked out, lane opened, enemy delayed, debts accrued. Valen patched in from engineering, megastructures stable. We repurposed that gas giant refinery next. Munitions for the ledger. Good, Cade eyed the plot. Kryn would regroup. His coalition spanned sectors, terror doctrine intact. But humans turned restraint to blades. She plotted the next choke, Voss's home nexus, memorial pending. Sato interrupted. Incoming tight beam, coalition chatter intercepted. Cade activated the feed. Kryn's voice boomed, furious. Humans, you throw away ships like chaff. Surrender or we glass your remnants. She smirked. No reply. Let him chase phantoms. Sato spoofed ghosts across false vectors. Valen tuned the stellar drives. Civilian megatech bent to war. Admiral, Sato said. Uit's black box recovered. Partial logs. Play it. Uit's final transmission filled the bridge. Flotilla expended. Lane open. Balance the books, ma'am, for the worlds. Cade's fist clenched. She added it to the ledger. Names stacked, 487 souls, each a vector in the plan. Fleet fabbers hummed. Missiles birthed, spines tuned to crack coalition armor. Cade stood tall. Next target, their forward yards. We turn their suns to ash. Bridge crew nodded. No cheers, just resolve. Hyperspace spat them toward the nexus. Sensors painted Kryn's reserves massing. He believed terror won. Cade proved otherwise. Coalition pickets died first. Silent raids, Uit's lesson applied. Cade's scouts vanished into shadows, planting charges. Yards erupted as her main body struck. Kryn's response lagged. His aides scrambled. From intercepted bursts, panic spread. Humans predict our moves. She didn't. She calculated. Logistics won wars. Every burned dome tallied. Valen reported. Refinery yields triple output. Bombs for their cores. Sato vectored the strike. Flotilla screens optional. We go direct. Cade approved. Sacrifices minimized. Debts collected. Ironclad loomed on long range. Kryn broadcasted again. Admiral Cade, yield. Your primitives can't match us. She keyed open channel. Legate, you burned 10 worlds. We balance 1 star at a time. Silence. Then fire. Battle joined. Vanguard's rails spat slugs. Coalition shields flared. Sato danced the fleet. Imperfect data turned lethal. Enemy heavies buckled under focused fire. A coalition carrier cracked. Escape pods bloomed. Cade logged no mercy for command decks. Kryn broke first. Ironclad jumped erratic. His line fractured. They're routing, Sato said. Pursue select, Cade ordered. Yards primary. Orbital platforms melted under tailored munitions. Gas giant boiled. Coalition spines snapped. Fleet pulled back clean. No overreach. Cade reviewed losses minimal. Uit's lane paid dividends. Ledger updated. Next sun queued. Days blurred in transit. Valen optimized the captured AI core. It predicts their terror patterns, flaws exposed. Sato integrated. We preempt. Cade gripped the plot. Sacrifices fueled this. Uwit's name glowed first. Enemy chatter spiked. Kryn rallied fragments. They sacrifice without rage. Unnatural. His error. Humans raged cold. Final approach. Coalition Nexus Star. Fortified. Jump mind. Cade's plan unfolded. Screens deployed, not sacrificial. Balanced. Uwit's successors held. Lasers carved lanes. Main fleet pierced. Ironclad waited at core. Kryn's last stand. Target engines, Cade said. Rails thundered. Ironclad listed. Kryn's bridge cams hacked. His face twisted. Aides dragged him back. Boarders launched. Marines breached. No quarter for the butcher. Cade watched feeds. Secure the flag. Nexus fell. Yards seized. Civilians, coalition conscripts surrendered wide-eyed. You fight like machines, but grieve. They saw the ledger on captured nets. Names etched. Worlds memorialized. Cade broadcasted to survivors. Tell your legate debts compound. Kryn, in custody, spat defiance. Marines hauled him aboard Vanguard. She faced him in the brig, no uniform, just steel gaze. You throw lives away, he growled. We invest them. Cade tapped her pad. Uwit's log played. She opened the door. You walked in. His mandibles clicked. Terror failed. Discipline endured. Fleet turned homeward. Suns trailed memorials, Nova scars etched with names. Cade exhaled on the bridge. Status. All green, Sato said. Valen nodded. Core integrated. Rays, patched from medbay, grinned. Ledger balanced. For now, Cade's eyes gleamed. Coalition fractured. Order collapsed. One more sun whispered, never anger humans. Hyperspace beckoned. Blades sharpened. Accounts eternal. Dr. Valen's gloved hands clamped the final resonator into place. Sparks flew across the stellar array's armature. The logistics star loomed below, its corona a lazy swirl of plasma. Coalition tankers orbited blind, their fuel depots bloated with antimatter slurry. Array at 98%, Valen reported, voice steady over the comm. Resonators sinking. Give me green on power feeds. Admiral Mara Cade leaned forward on the Vanguard's bridge. Hollow displays flickered with telemetry from Valen's workbees. The modified array, ripped from a hijacked civilian solar farm, now encircled the star like a noose of mirrored sails and flux inductors. Cade's fingers drummed the armrest. Goal, turn the enemy's supply hub into a pyre. Conflict, one glitch, and the star cooked Valen's team first. Power feeds live, Commander Sato confirmed from Tactical. His screens parsed sensor ghosts amid the star's magnetic storms. Coalition patrols at Vector 3-5 blind to us. Jump mines cleared by Uwit's skirmishers. Cade nodded. Doctor, you have 30 minutes. Install complete. Valen wiped sweat from her brow, visor fogging briefly. 99, calibrating flare induction. This star's stable. Our tweaks will pulse it like a heartbeat. Controlled flares, Admiral. Fry their stocks, not the system. Outcome locked in Cade's mind. No wild novas, just surgical hellfire. Vanguard out. Shuttle clamps released. Valen's craft darted to rally point, array vanishing into the star's glare. Cade exhaled. First piece set. Sato spun his chair. Reserves inbound, ma'am. Kryn's baited. Falsified distress from our ghost drone. Vanguard crippled. Nexus exposed. They're jumping in hot. Cade's lips thinned. Legate Voss Kryn thought terror broke humans. Burned worlds to slag, conscripted survivors into his coalition meat grinder. Now she'd show him accounts. She keyed fleetwide. All ships stage retreat vector. Uwit's flotilla screen the Vanguard, make it look desperate. Captain Lysa Uwit's voice crackled back, calm as vacuum. Copy, Admiral, will bleed just enough plasma to sell it. My birds are dancing. Cade watched the plot bloom. Vanguard's engines flared in feigned panic. Skirmishers peeled off, lasers stitching fake hull breaches. Coalition reserves, 3 battle cruisers, escort destroyers, fuel tenders, dropped from jump, sensors hungry. They plunged toward the Nexus star's outer yards, straight into the trap. Kryn's flag would follow. He always chased kills personally. Enemy tenders docking at primary depot, Sato said. His fingers flew, overlaying imperfect scans. Magnetic interference warped readings, but patterns emerged. Comms relays lighting up. They're offloading fuel for the push. Cade's gaze fixed on the stellar array's icon. Valen's handiwork pulsed faint. Status on lure. Distress loop repeating, Sato replied. Kryn's reserves buying it. Main body ETA 12 hours. She stood. Bridge crew snapped alert. Humans didn't rage blind. They planned, sacrificed, turned suns to gravestones. Captain Uwit, peel back, let them nest. Uwit S-feed patched in, a grainy cam from her bridge. Her flotilla twisted away, point defense chattering to mimic pursuit. Coalition lasers grazed a decoy drone. It bloomed into debris. "They're hooked, Admiral. Yards full, tenders gorged." "Good hunting," Cade said. "Feed cut." Hours ticked. Vanguard ghosted at system edge, cloaked in asteroid shadow. Cade paced. Grief fueled this, not fury. Burned worlds, Epsilon Prime her home, names etched in her pad. She'd memorialized them in stellar scars. Sato's console pinged. Kryn's hammer drops. Ironclad and escorts jump complete. They're vectoring on our retreat. Full reserves committed. Plot swarmed red. Battle cruisers muscled into parking orbits. Tenders pumped slurry into yard reservoirs. Comms towers buzzed with triumph, alien chatter decrypted in bursts. "Humans flee, Nexus ours," Cade smiled cold. "Dr. Valen array primed?" "Affirmative," Valen replied from her station. Her voice carried the calm of equations balanced. "Flux at peak, one trigger and the star hiccups flares." Targeted bursts hit depots, relays skip civilian habs. "Sato," Cade ordered. "Trigger on my mark." Tactical hummed. Sato's eyes narrowed at the board. Sensor fog hid half the enemy count, but trajectories spoke clear. Tenders clustered at Depot Alpha. Relays crowned the outer ring. Ironclad loomed central, Kryn's fist. "Mark," Cade said. Sato slapped the key. Array sails flipped. Invisible beams stabbed the star's core. The star twitched. First flare erupted, a lance of plasma sculpted by Valen's resonators. It speared Depot Alpha. Fuel tanks ignited in chain reaction. Tenders vaporized, antimatter blooms chaining to the next. Explosions rippled, silent on sensors but vivid in infrared. Coalition screams flooded comms. Alien voices fractured, Kryn's tongue guttural with shock. "What sorcery? Shields up!" Second flare bloomed. Relays shattered, shards spinning into the dark. Battle cruisers bucked, engines flaring blind. Sato whooped once, cut it short. "Their nets down, no jump cohesion." Cade gripped the rail, third flare incoming. "Civilians first." Broadcast the corridor. Vanguard's arrays lit. Cade's voice boomed system-wide, translated flawless. "Coalition non-combatants, this is Admiral Mara Cade, United Human Navy. Ceasefire corridor vector 090. Hab modules, evacuate now. Repeat, safe passage granted." Hab stirred, tiny ships, conscript haulers, worker pods jetted free. Coalition captains barked overrides, but chaos reigned. Flares peaked, plasma storms lashed the yards, destroyers cracked, hulls peeling. Ironclad weathered it, scarred but defiant. Uwit's flotilla surged back. "We're on the stragglers, Admiral, lasers hot." Kryn's reserves reeled, half their fuel gone. Comms severed. They clawed for jump points, but Valen's array pulsed again, a warning shot that clipped a cruiser's drive ring. Cade watched a Hab pod streak past the corridor. Wide-eyed aliens inside gaped at Vanguard's silhouette. One signaled, "Thanks, human standard." "Array holding," Valen reported. "Star stabilizing, no cascade." Sato plotted intercepts. "Ironclad rallying survivors, Kryn's pushing for Nexus core." Cade turned. "All ships, advance." "We've lit their chain, now we break it." Fleet engines thrummed. Vanguard led, rails charging. Uwit's raiders flanked, carving lanes through debris. Lasers answered enemy fire, precise, conserving shots. Coalition gunners overreached, terror making them sloppy. A battle cruiser lunged. Sato's countermeasures spoofed its locks. Rails spoke, slugs punched through armor. It listed venting. Kryn's voice cut through static, direct to Vanguard. "Monsters, you pervert stars," Cade patched in. "You burned world's legate, we balance ledgers." Mandibles clicked rage. Link died. Valen's voice chimed. "Final flare prepped if needed, but your math holds, Admiral, they're fuel dry." Uwit S-feed, her lead ship danced through flak, torpedoes loosed. Enemy destroyer bloomed. "One less butcher." Fleet pierced the storm. Memorial flares dimmed, leaving Nova scars etched with human code. Names of the fallen, Epsilon, New Dawn, accounts open. Ironclad waited at core, guns live. Cade's eyes hardened. "Target engines." Rails thundered. The counteroffensive peaked. Coalition order cracked. One son whispered the truth. Humans didn't burn worlds back. They lit the enemy's supply chain with its own sun. Hyperspace beckoned beyond. Kryn's end loomed. Kryn's flagship, the Dominion's spear, tore through the starstorm net like a blade through silk. Admiral Mara Cade gripped her command chair on Vanguard's bridge. Screens flared with proximity alerts. The enemy behemoth closed to knife range, 5 kilometers, point-blank in void combat. Coalition Marines prepped boarding pods on its hull. Kryn aimed to gut her fleet's heart. Flak walls up, Commander Gyrosato snapped. His fingers danced over tactical hollows. Raiders spoof their locks, Uwit buy us 30 seconds. Captain Lysa Uwit's voice crackled. Copy, dancing now. Cade watched Spear's forward batteries cycle hot. The legate chased vengeance for his burning logistics star. She had turned his own fuel depots into Nova traps, precise flares that starved his armada. Now he rammed the core. Helm, evasive pattern Delta 5, Cade ordered. Valen, status on the ghost array, Doctor. Inez Valen's comm feed patched in from engineering. Online, repurposed civilian relays masking our signatures. They'll see phantoms. Spear's lasers stabbed. False echoes drew the fire. Vanguard rolled, rails silent. Uwit's flotilla struck from flanks. Torpedoes gutted Spear's escorts. Debris bloomed, a shield of wreckage. Kryn's voice boomed fleet-wide. Cade, your tricks end here. Surrender or I glass your bridge. She patched in, voice steady. You burned Epsilon, New Dawn. Surrender is off the table, Legate. We're collecting. Mandibles clicked fury. Spear accelerated, grapples extending. Sato's eyes narrowed. Cooldown cycle in 10. Their guns need 20 seconds to vent plasma. Cade nodded. Layered faint time. All ships execute Mirage. Valen, flood the net with decoys. Uwit, hard faint starboard, draw their point defense. Vanguard shuddered as she fired retros. Sensors painted a dozen ghost fleets scattering. Spear's turrets swiveled, shredding illusions. Uwit's raiders obliged, diving starboard in a suicidal arc. Flak shredded 2 hulls, but they loosed drones, bait that exploded in perfect formation. Kryn bit, Spear pivoted, broadside exposed. Now, Cade said, boarding tubes launched from Vanguard's belly. Magnetic grapples latched onto Spear's hull amid the cooldown haze. Breaches sparked. Marines poured through, mag boots clamping. Cade stood. Sato, you have the con, keep Ironclad pinned, I'm taking the fight inside, he protested. Admiral, math says we win here, move. She donned her vac suit, sidearm holstered. Bridge crew saluted, shuttle bay doors cycled. Her drop pod rocketed across the gap, slamming into Spear's mid-deck. Explosives breached. Cade tumbled into a corridor slick with Coalition Icor. Marines fanned out, rifles barking. Chittering aliens charged, claws gleaming, exosuits humming. Push to bridge, she yelled, laser fire crisscrossed. A Marine dropped, gutted. Cade rolled behind a bulkhead, returned fire. Her shots punched through chitin. The corridor cleared, alarms wailed. Bulkhead sealed ahead, Sato's voice in her helmet. Enemy reinforcements inbound. We've spoofed their internals, ghost teams on their TACnet. Good man, Cade advanced. Spear's crew fought disciplined, but humans moved faster. They turned corners into kill zones, used every bulkhead. Elevator shaft beckoned. Grapple line down, they dropped into command deck. Gunfire echoed. Kryn's bridge loomed, double doors reinforced, breaches primed. Valen, Cade calmed. Star flare? Primed. Their Nexus core links direct. One pulse collapses their hyperlane chain. Cade signaled. Charges blew. Marines stormed. Coalition guards fell in sprays of limbs. Kryn stood at the holotank, mandibles flared, 4 arms clutching a plasma blade. You, he snarled. Monsters who weaponize suns. Cade leveled her rifle. Marines flanked. You lit worlds to break us. We lit your supply lines. Balanced. He lunged. Blade hummed. She sidestepped. Marines hosed him down. Plasma scorched armor. Kryn staggered, one arm severed. Cade advanced, pistol to his crest. Sign the withdrawal. All Coalition forces exit human space, or watch your Empire's spine snap. His optics dimmed. Defiance cracked. Screens showed his fleet fracturing, ironclad drifting, engines slagged. Uwit's raiders picked off stragglers. Vanguard's rails thundered outside, methodical. Kryn's manipulator trembled over the console. Terms scrolled, full retreat. Reparations in trade routes. No reprisals, human memorials untouched, he signed. Digital seal locked. Cade holstered her weapon. Valen, flare it. Deep in the system, the logistics star ignited again. Not a wild burn, a controlled pulse. Hyperlanes warped, enemy resupply chains severed across sectors. Coalition order buckled, worlds starved, Kryn sagged. How such restraint, yet total? Humans plan, Cade said. You terrorized, we account. Marines dragged him to brig, Cade patched to fleet. Sato, deploy memorial beacons, full orbit. Aye, Admiral. Drones launched from Vanguard. Pods seeded the star's orbit, eternal lights pulsing names, Epsilon, New Dawn, fallen crews. Human code etched in quantum memory, accounts closed. She watched from Spear's viewport. Beacons ignited, a ring of starlight memorials. Enemy pilots would see them on every pass, a funeral ground barring their return. Sato's update. Fleet reports minimal losses. Krynn's coalition fracturing, hyperspace clear. Cade exhaled. Grief tightened her chest, but strategy held. They came for surrender. She delivered terms in starlight and loss. One sun memorialized the cost. More would follow if needed. Vanguard's engines thrummed, homeward. But sensors pinged. Distant signatures, reinforcements. No, probes from untouched sectors. Krynn's allies probing the scar. Cade's eyes hardened. Plot intercepts, we balance all ledgers. Krynn's chains rattled in Vanguard's brig. Admiral Cade entered alone. Legate's optics fixed on her, mandibles still. You won, he clicked. But why memorials? Why not burn us? She met his gaze. Vengeance without measure repeats your mistake. We honor our dead. You learn from yours. He tilted his head. Humans keep accounts eternal. Yes, Cade turned. Transmit that to your council. Terms stand. Doors hissed shut. She returned to bridge. Sato plotted next jumps. Uwit's raiders docked, crews weary but intact. Valen calibrated new relays from captured tech. Fleet formed up. Memorial ring gleamed astern, a warning in light. Hyperspace swallowed them. Coalition remnants scattered. Human space breathed, but whispers spread. Cade's ledger, stars as tombstones, never anger the accountants. Sato's console beeped. Admiral decrypted logs from Spear. Krynn's full plan, 10 more worlds targeted. Cade leaned in. Vectors, plotted, Uwit's flotilla can intercept. Dispatch them quietly. Uwit grinned on feed. Math's on our side, butchers won't reach drop. Fleet accelerated. Sacrifices turned to shields. Enemy suns awaited their flares. Cade watched the void. Discipline won wars. Grief fueled them. One victory. Ledgers open. Valen patched from the engine deck. Admiral Spear's stellar drive. Civilian megatech base. I can repurpose for faster lanes. Do it. Cade paced. We hit their core worlds next if terms break. Sato nodded. Tactics ready, feints layered triple deep. Coalition chatter flooded comms panic. The humans lit Nexus Prime, supply gone, Krynn lost. Cade smiled faintly. They learned, memorial beacons pulsed in rear sensors. Funeral ground claimed. Fleet vanished into the black, terms enforced in Starfare. Ironclad's husk drifted, a gutted shell. Uwit's lead raider circled. Salvage teams away, no survivors. Cade's voice, confirm manifests, every name to the ledger. Pods returned data. Civilian haulers hidden in holds, weapons bound for fresh burns. Destroy it, Cade ordered. Torpedoes struck. Ironclad bloomed silent, one less threat. Orbit cleared for beacons. Cade signed off. Vanguard led the van, home called, but probes returned, coalition fracture lines. Allies peeling away, her plan worked. Restraint as weapon, grief as strategy, stars bore witness. Krynn's transmission beamed empire-wide before hyperspace cut it. Humans do not rage, they calculate, withdraw, or join the memorials. Council chambers fell silent. Probes showed the ring, names glowing. Terror's architects quailed. Human.